This is the Weekly Roundup here on EAC News Channel, your look back at the past week in the Kingdom of Wonder. A very good evening, I'm Darshana Gauchen. His Majesty the King of Cambodia has commended the President and other leaders of the National Assembly for their role in leading the legislature in enacting laws to be related to the environment, politics, social situations, all in accordance with the Cambodian Constitution. King Norodom Sihamoni delivered a royal message at the opening of the National Assembly's 8th session of the 6th legislature on Monday morning, under the high presidency of the National Assembly President Heng Samrin. The king said that the National Assembly has been actively involved in researching various legislations that have been successfully implemented during the fight against COVID-19. His Majesty said, "These achievements show the true will of the people, with a happy smile and progress." The king also welcomed the leadership of Prime Minister Hun Sen, who allowed the reopening of all sectors in the country. He said much effort has been made to lead Cambodia and gain the support of citizens across the country, including partners to develop the COVID-19 vaccination policy. The opening of the National Assembly's 8th session of the 6th legislature was attended by 93 members of the National Assembly. The session provided a briefing on the activities of the National Assembly between the 7th and 8th sessions of the 6th legislature. The session also deliberated on the validity of the mandates of 2 candidates elected to the 6th legislature of the National Assembly to replace past members who passed away. Heng Buntan, a member of parliament for Ratanakiri province who replaced Bu Lam, and Nut Chia, a member of parliament for Phnom Penh who replaced Chiep Sivon. Monday's National Assembly session was also set to elect Chan Nyon as a member of the National Assembly's Committee on Interior, National Defense and Civil Service, and Sun Saphon as a member of the National Assembly's Committee on Foreign Affairs, International Cooperation, Propaganda, and Information. At the same time, the session also featured discussions of the draft law on the approval of the 4th Protocol on the amendment of the ASEAN Comprehensive Investment Agreement. Prime Minister Hun Sen reminisced about his decision to cancel the Chumben Festival in 2021 due to the large-scale outbreak of COVID-19, while speaking at the graduation ceremony for students of Vanda Institute on Monday morning. He said that this decision helped Cambodia overcome the worst of the pandemic. EAC News reporter Anthony Ellis has more details.
Prime Minister Hun Sen added that his decision allowed Cambodia to enter the state of the new normal, leading to the joyous preparation of the celebration of Chumben Festival this year. He said he is assured that the decision he made in 2021 was correct.
ប្រសិនបើយើងបណ្តែតបណ្ដោយតែពីឆ្នាំទៅប្រហែលជាមានប្រសង់ឬពុទ្ធបរិស័ទមួយចំនួនមិនបានប្រជុំនៅក្នុងឆ្នាំនេះទេដាក់បិទឬប្រជុំនៅក្នុងឆ្នាំនេះទេព្រោះកូវីដបានបំផ្លាញអាយុជីវិតរួចស្រេចទៅហើយអញ្ចឹងឆ្នាំនេះហើយពីឆ្នាំដែលអ្នកទាំងនោះត្រូវមកទទួលបាយបិណ្ឌទៅវិញទេដោយសារតែគេបានចែកឋានទៅហើយនោះ
He said that this year, the public was happy and lives were only lost due to traffic accidents, not because of COVID-19. According to the report of the General Commissioner of the National Police, during the 3-day Chumben Festival in 2022, from the 24th to 26th of September, there were a total 34 traffic accidents across the country caused by speeding and intolerant driving. Of the 34 cases, 27 result in fatalities. This is an increase of more than half the deaths caused by traffic accidents in 2021, where there were 35 traffic accidents but only 14 deaths. It should be noted that on the 23rd of September 2021, the government decided to suspend Kanben and Chunben celebrations from Ben 4 on the 25th of September until Chumben Day on the 7th of October 2021, due to the highlighted risk of COVID-19 in the country. Anthony Ellis, EAC News.
Prime Minister Hun Sen remarked on the growth of the private sector during the graduation ceremony for students of Vanda Institute on Monday morning, and said that this growth has provided progress to society and economy, helping to develop Cambodia's human resources. EAC News reporter Dekanin has further details.
Prime Minister Hun Sen said that the growth of the private sector has created jobs for Cambodians, and private companies have also made progress that contribute to society and economy, including the payment of taxes to the state. The Prime Minister also referred to the Marxist theory of Lenin, who stated that the capitalist class needs workers for their growth, and the workers also need capitalists to grow. Speaking further on the national economy, Prime Minister Hun Sen remarked that Cambodia has seen much economic reform since being liberated from the Khmer Rouge regime, shifting the country's economy towards a free market system. However, he said that this reform is unfinished and not yet near its end, as Cambodia still has not fulfilled certain credentials required by the World Trade Organization.
មានន័យថាបើដល់ពេលនេះយើងអត់តន់ដើរដល់ទីបញ្ចប់នៃការកែតម្រង់នៅវិស័យសេដ្ឋកិច្ចទៅឡើយទេព្រោះយើងនៅខ្វះលិខិតបទកថាមួយចំនួនដែលយើងជំពាក់អង្គការពាណិជ្ជកម្មពិភពលោកគិតឲ្យប្រទេសរបស់យើងបានចូលអង្គការពាណិជ្ជកម្មពិភពលោកតាំងពីឆ្នាំ2004នោះយើងចូលមុនវៀតណាមយើងចូលមុនរុស្ស៊ីទៅទៀត
Along with a lack of certain standards, the Prime Minister said Cambodia is also making some changes in the management of its national economy. Beganin EAC News.
The Ministry of Public Works and Transport has reported that nearly 9,000 vehicles traveled on the Phnom Penh Sihanoukville Expressway on the first day of its test launch, including both individual family cars and large transportation vehicles. According to the Ministry of Public Works and Transport, from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Saturday, 1st October, 8,927 vehicles traveled on the Phnom Penh Sihanoukville Expressway by entering and exiting through all 8 stations. The expressway saw use from both family travelers and technically compliant transport vehicles over the weekend, proving the expressway's high potential as an economic line. The ministry also confirmed that among the nearly 9,000 vehicles, there were also a number of cases where travelers needed consultation, requested more information, and sought out assistance for using the expressway, with a total of 52 lines contacting the 1399 helpline. The ministry also emphasized that all drivers and passengers on the expressway must strictly abide by the set safety standards and instructions, respecting the minimum requirements and conditions to drive on this highway, and with respect to all traffic laws to make your trip fun and safe. Prime Minister Hun Sen has stated that he will not allow Angkor to be removed from the World Heritage List. He made this statement while speaking at the graduation ceremony for students of Vanda Institute on Monday morning. Prime Minister Hun Sen said that at this time, the government is using gentle methods to ask people to leave the Angkor area. However, in the future, if any citizens refuse to leave, the government will implement administrative measures where compensation for relocation will not be available.
ពេលនេះជាពេលដែលរាជរដ្ឋាភិបាលធ្វើការថ្នាក់ថ្នមអង្វរកបងប្អូនឲ្យចាក់ចេញខ្ញុំទៅជួបផ្ទាល់ជិត 4,000 គ្រួសារបើបូកតំណាក់ចេញពីទីសិទ្ធិផងជាង 4,000 គ្រួសារប៉ុន្តែនៅពេលវេលាមកដល់បាសេនក៏អត់ឲ្យនេះជាពេលវេលាដែលរាជរដ្ឋាភិបាលកំពុងត្រាស់ត្រោល ធ្វើហេដ្ឋារចនាសម្ព័ន្ធជូនប៉ុន្តែទៅដល់ពេលវេលាមួយហើយមិនមែនសុខចិត្តឲ្យអង្គរវត្តត្រូវគេដកចេញពីបេតិកភណ្ឌពិភពលោកទេច្បាស់ជាដកគ្រួសារហ្នឹងចេញ
Currently, more than 6,000 families have been compensated by the government for relocating from the Angkor area to Runta Aik Natural Village in Siem Reap's Bante Strait district. This relocation to Runta Aik village is due to UNESCO saying that the buildings in the Angkor area have affected the historical site and must be demolished. If this problem persists, Angkor will be removed from the World Heritage Site list. Prime Minister Hun Sen has suggested at the opening ceremony of the 41st General Assembly of the Olympic Council of Asia, held at the Soka Hotel in Phnom Penh on Tuesday morning, that countries in Southeast Asia should take a look at why their level in sports is still weak. The Prime Minister noted his observation that few countries in Asia seem to participate in World Cup qualifiers. He said that he hopes at the upcoming World Cup in Qatar in December 2022, there will be Asian countries who also win games. In this line, the Prime Minister raised the question of why countries in Asia with large populations often seem to have weaker athletes than those from Europe and Latin America.
ប្រជាជនច្រើនមិនប្រកាសថាកីឡាខ្លាំងនោះទេហើយប្រជាជនតិចមិនប្រកាសថាកីឡាខ្សោយនោះដែរ
The Prime Minister acknowledged that athletes in Southeast Asia are quite weak in comparison to the rest of the world. However, he said that they must not also be weak in terms of sporting ethics. In this sense, the Prime Minister said that he does not want to see things like violence and stampedes at sporting events, such as the incident that happened in Indonesia a few days ago that caused the loss of hundreds of lives.
វាជាការចាំបាច់ណាស់ដែលចាំបាច់ដែលការពង្រឹងនៅក្របខ័ណ្ឌក្រមសីលធម៌អំពីការប្រកួតដែលវាមិនមែនគ្រាន់តែដើម្បីការឈ្នះក៏ប៉ុន្តែរំលោភបំពានទៅលើលក្ខខណ្ឌនៃការប្រកួតឬប្រើអំពើហិង្សានោះទេ
The Prime Minister requested the National Olympic Committee of Cambodia and the National Organizing Committee of the 2023 SEA Games and ASEAN Para Games to jointly increase technical cooperation and experience with the Olympic Council of Asia, the National Olympic Committees of member countries, the Southeast Asian Sports Federation, the ASEAN Para Sports Federation Council, and other international sports institutions. On Saturday, 1st October 2022, at the Kanjuruhan Stadium in East Java, Indonesia, a stampede occurred after a clash between football fans and the police, which left 125 people dead. The incident shocked the world, and FIFA President Gianni Infantino called it a dark day for those involved in football and a tragedy beyond comprehension. The president of the Olympic Council of Asia, Raja Randir Singh, has praised Prime Minister Hun Sen and the royal government of Cambodia for good leadership that has allowed the country to develop, and especially for building and organizing a good national stadium for the upcoming Southeast Asian Games that Cambodia will host in 2023. EAC News reporter Decca Nin has more details.
During the Tuesday morning opening ceremony of the 41st General Assembly of the Olympic Council of Asia, held at the Soka Hotel in Phnom Penh, OCA President Raja Randir Singh added that he truly believes that Cambodia will be able to organize and hold the upcoming SEA Games with great success. Also at the meeting, Prime Minister Hun Sen welcomed the President and visiting delegation of the OCA to Cambodia. One of the things the Prime Minister noted was that although Asia has a large population, there are not many athletes who qualify for the Olympic Games. However, he emphasized that winning medals at competitions is only one factor, and more importantly, athletes must maintain their morals and ethics when playing sports. Dekanin, EAC News.
The Malaysian ambassador to Cambodia was recently awarded the Datukship, the Malaysian equivalent to the British knighthood, and receiving the title of Sir by the governor of Malacca. EAC News reporter Anthony Ellis had the privilege of interviewing the ambassador of Malaysia to ask him how he felt about receiving the Datuk, along with what he considered to be some of his biggest achievements as ambassador.
Sitting down with the Malaysian ambassador to Cambodia, Datuk Eldin Hussaini Muhammad Hasim, for an interview, we got to learn about what kind of person he is and also get some insight into what he considers his greatest achievements while being ambassador in Cambodia. Ambassador Datuk Eldin has received his Datukship with the Malaysian equivalent to the British knighthood from the governor of Malacca in September 2022. The ambassador said he was honoured and felt very blessed to receive this award.
I feel very blessed and honoured to be receiving this award from the governor of Malacca in September. It is always a privilege for me to be receiving this title award. To receive it from the governor is my personal. It touched me deeply. Is because 2 weeks before that, the governor did an official visit to Cambodia, and I was with him for about 10 days. And during that time, we presented to him with all the potential what Cambodia can offer to Malaysia, and we also had Cambodians meeting with him in offering what Malacca can do and invest in Cambodia as well. So that really helps me in terms of boosting my energy to do more. Then a month, a week, 2 weeks after that, I received this beautiful news that will be awarded Datukship from Malacca. To me, that was wonderful because even without the title, I will do for my country. But with the title, of course, it is an honor. Then I will definitely continue doing what I am doing as ambassador, especially to promote all the states but now especially for Malacca. We were very excited when we received that. We never expected to have that kind of recognition. Yeah, of course, my family is very happy when we heard that I received the award.
The ambassador added that he considers getting 2 prime ministers of Malaysia to visit Cambodia during his mission to be his greatest achievement.
I think my greatest achievement is getting 2 prime minister, Malaysian prime minister to Cambodia. That was my greatest achievement. Of course, other than that, to maintain the bilateral relations and to get through with my fellow Malaysians here in Cambodia. We go through tough time as well. I think during COVID, we managed to have evacuation process for about 300 Malaysians back to Malaysia with the help of Cambodian authorities. That was a big do for us. Everybody was blind. Nobody knows what to do. But then, I think the greatest achievement because the impact that you have, the good relation that you have with fellow Malaysians here, we help each other. That is very important. As I told you earlier, whatever it is, when you want to do anything, engagement is like the prime. Communication is always there. You need to communicate to get things done. So my greatest achievement, of course, to get things done. Malaysians are happy in Cambodia and Cambodians are happy in Malaysia. To get the 2 prime minister comes to Cambodia. My hope is only that during my time I can get the prime minister Samdech Techo Hun Sen to come and visit Malaysia. It's not easy as he says, to get people to work together with you. Being an ambassador, you can choose. Either you can sit in your cozy chair and just stay in the office and wait for things to happen, or you can just go out and meet people and make things happen. So my greatest achievement is I like to go out and make things happen. This really, because I'm not just a person who just sit down. I like to go out and speak. I like to solve matters. I like to solve things. So I think my greatest achievement is me being more open and more daring and more vocal in terms of addressing issues, either with Cambodia or with fellow Malaysians. I think my greatest achievement is just that, me being me. Yeah.
On a more personal note, I found Ambassador Dr. Eldeen to be such a friendly, down-to-earth and modest man during his interview. He even told me, an Aussie, that he lived in Australia for a while so I could call him mate. For the full interview of the Malaysian ambassador will be released on our channel soon. Anthony Ellis, EAC News.
The General Commissioner of the Girl Guides Association of Cambodia, Pic Chanmoni, has shared her knowledge and experience with the members and young women who participated in the Meet Sister Chanam program in Siem Reap Province. The General Commissioner of the Girl Guides Association of Cambodia spoke at the program called Meet Sister Chanam held in Siem Reap Province on Monday, 2nd October, with the participation of the Commissioner General and more than 200 team leaders and members of the Girl Guides Association. She shared 4 main points of knowledge, which are to strive to do something good every day, build more relationships, understand that all work helps to teach us, and to have more self-confidence. She said these are 4 points of advice which will help to give members energy and a good start in life when applied in all aspects of their studies, work, and daily activities. Pic Chanmoni invited all members and participants, especially active members of the Girl Guides Association, to participate in the program, increase their network, and have the opportunity to express courage through asking questions and learning the important message she has shared. She said these are key skills to building a better future and life direction for themselves. In addition, she said the program encourages the voluntary sharing of support among members even more because she could see the active members of the Girl Guides Association had really benefited from the association's programs and developed them even further. The Deputy Director of the Department of Environment of Phnom Penh, Khain Phan, on Sunday called out a man who dumped garbage in the Chaktamuk River. He called for this man to be advised and educated on his wrongdoing and to be told to stop dumping garbage into the river or in other public places. EAC News reporter Dekanin has the story.
Kain Pan told EAC News on Monday that the polluting culprit resides in Phnom Penh and dumped the coconut shell into the Chatumuk River in Domping district on the 30th of September. The man believed that dropping the coconut shell into the river would bring him success and fortune. However, such an act is contrary to the guidelines set out in the Urban Solid Waste Management Law. According to the Deputy Director of Phnom Penh Department of Environment, an official gave him a warning and asked the man to make a contract to stop dumping garbage into the river. Next time, the official will fine the man in accordance with the law. According to Chapter 7, Article 42 of the Law on Urban Solid Waste Management, individuals who dump solid waste in public towns, street, water resources, and land will be fined 20,000 riel. Street vendors who do this will face a fine of 50,000 riel, while sellers based at home or who own restaurants will face a fine of 150,000 riel. Market vendors, business owners, owners of other services and handicraft businesses will be fined 200,000 riel, while the owners of factories, enterprises, and companies will be fined 400,000 riel. In addition to facing fines, all offenders would also have to collect and pack their trash to clear the site. In the case of repeat offences, the penalty given will be double the previous penalty. On the 13th of September 2022, the Sihanoukville provincial authorities also fined a man for dumping garbage at a site in Village 1, Sangkat 2, Sihanoukville on the night of the 10th of September 2022. He was fined 1 million riel according to the Law on Environmental Protection and Natural Resource Management. Nekanin, EAC News.
The royal government of Cambodia has decided to remove the measure requiring foreign travelers to show their COVID-19 vaccine cards upon arriving in Cambodia by land, sea, or air. EAC News reporter Anthony Ellis has the details.
According to a press release issued by the Ministry of Health on Monday, the 3rd of October, the Ministry of Health agreed to withdraw this measure as instructed by Prime Minister Hun Sen. However, the government has also ordered for temperature checks to remain at all entrances and exits, and officers at the border checkpoints will still be responsible for monitoring and giving advice to passengers who show symptoms of COVID-19. Although Prime Minister Hun Sen has lifted the requirement to show COVID-19 vaccine cards upon arrival in Cambodia, the Ministry of Health still calls on all members of the public who have not yet been vaccinated with the basic doses of COVID-19 to please go and get vaccinated immediately. The Ministry of Health also calls on the public to be vigilant and continue to implement the 3 do's and 3 don'ts to prevent further spread of COVID-19 and the local community. Anthony Ellis, EAC News.
If it's happening and you need to know about it, you'll get it all right here. EAC News brings you updates and breaking news in English across all of our platforms and channels. The EAC News app, YouTube, Facebook, Telegram, Twitter, and our website www.eacnews.asia. Join me and the rest of the EAC News team every day on your favorite channels. EAC News, Cambodia made clear.
Filipino designer Rainier Abelio is about to launch his latest fashion collection commemorating the 8th anniversary of his fashion label Armada. Abelio held the Armada Introspection Arts and Fashion Exhibition press launch, announcing his new line on 16 September at Tribe Phnom Penh, in partnership with Spectrum KH, Tribe, AB Studio, and presented by 1664 Blanc. EAC News attended the press launch to learn more about his upcoming collection. Abelio describes his new collection as atypical in both its format and design, and quite dark in its inspiration, however still very wearable. A big fan of Game of Thrones, Abelio announced that he has titled his next collection A Feast for Crows, after the 4th novel in the A Song of Ice and Fire book series, which was adapted for the TV show. He said he thought this was a fitting title for his anniversary collection, not just because of the darker inspiration, but also in reflection of the roller coaster of emotions he feels when putting out a new collection.
Like being a fashion designer, especially in this country, it's really difficult. It takes a lot of you. It takes a lot from you. It's very like your emotions and like challenges and everything. So every time you put out the collection out there, like put a collection out there, it feels like you die each time. That's how I feel. Like I feel like I die each time I put out the collection because it's really, really like. It's not difficult, it's really just very emotional. It's an emotional roller coaster.
8 years into the business, Abelio says he maintains the ethos of his brand Armada by keeping close to the people he has worked with since the very beginning. He said that all his campaign videos showcasing his collections have been edited by the same editor, maintaining a certain mood that captures Armada's unique charm and artistry. In working with Tribe, he said it was a partnership born out of understanding. He commended the Tribe team for understanding Armada's vision and brand and said he loved working with people who are professional, appreciate his vision, and work towards making it a reality.
They understand the brand, they understand the event. You don't want to work with people who contradicts with your vision. You want to work with people who appreciates your vision and helps you to make this vision into a reality. That's why we collaborated with Tribe, and we're very grateful.
The press launch event was also presented by 1664 Blanc, a brand which Abelio feels is a perfect match for Armada. He said he knew this from the very first time he met with the Blanc team, as they made it clear that they were very interested in elevating and helping the fashion industry in Cambodia. Numerous models, influencers, artists, designers, and VIP guests were specially invited to the launch event. Fellow Filipino fashion designer Don Protasio was happy to be at the launch to support his industry peer and good friend. He shared that he often collaborates with Abelio and directs shows for Armada, and has also had the privilege of seeing a preview of the new collection, which he described as being typically Armada, very dramatic, but at the same time wearable.
It's typically very Armada, very dramatic, but at the same time, it's wearable. It's something that is geared towards the looks and the pieces that his customers really come to him for and what he's known for. And there will be prints, there will be bling blings, there will be tailoring and drama pieces and stuff like that. And the good thing about Armada is that he constantly pushes himself to do something. Like he's always bored about he's always thinking about the next one. And yeah, I can't wait for the full. We will only see it the full effect of it when we see the show itself.
Many guests also attended the press launch donning pieces from previous Armada collections. Fashion stylist and influencer Shasnay Suleymanova came wearing a black and white polka-dotted dress from Armada's last collection, styled with pearls and other bright accents to fit the event's retro chic dress code. She said that she has also had the privilege of styling one of Armada's collections in the past.
So I had an amazing experience to style one of the collection of designer of Rainier. It was Spectrum Trois before, like few months ago, and it was an honor to style one of his collection. It was all about like America, some like Marilyn Monroe vibe, very bright, and I love to work with colors. So it was about diamonds, leather, some crazy bags. That's what I did.
Lifestyle influencer Rainy Dara also came to the press launch in a stylish gray suit embellished with sparkling flowers designed by Armada. He said he's a big fan of Abellio's work and always loves to show off Armada's outfits on his social media channels. In regard to the upcoming line, he said he expects to see some colorful and fabulous designs.
For me, I think that he's gonna have like a very fabulous outfit, and especially his clothes line, everything's for both unisex, and especially the pattern, and also he's not really basic for for the style, because not only go for black and white, so the fashion industry for him is more like colorful and fabulous. So the next one, I think that is gonna be like a very, very wonderful collection.
Fashion photographer Chemvut Sovin, who has been working in the industry for 15 years, said he was very excited for the new collection, as he is a big supporter of local brands in the Cambodian fashion industry. Even though Abellio is Filipino, he established Armada totally in Cambodia and has been solely based in the kingdom. Sovin added that what he loves most about Armada is the willingness to be bold and creative.
Well, Armada always surprises me. Like every fashion show, like he's very vibrant. His style is very, vibrant, and I would say he gives lots of variety, and diversity. What I love about Armada is that he's never scared of his own vision and creativity. I really love his collection.
Abellio says his new collection celebrating Armada's 8th anniversary will be a culmination of all the essences and details that are foundational to his creative thrust. He describes it as going to war and a culling of the champions and warriors of each collection, perhaps signifying a daring new take on some of his previous star pieces. He confidently asserts that his collection will pave way for the next here and the future now. Armada's new collection, A Feast for Crows, will be launched in October. The Prime Minister of Cuba, Manuel Marrero Cruz, began his official state visit to Cambodia at 1 p.m. this Tuesday afternoon. He will be in Cambodia for 3 days from 4th to 6th October 2022. EAC News reporter Anthony Ellis has more.
The Cuban Prime Minister will pay a courtesy call to His Majesty of the King of Cambodia at the Royal Palace, then will meet with the President of the Senate, Sai Chung, and the President of the National Assembly, Heng Samrin. Afterwards, the Prime Minister of Cuba will hold bilateral talks with Prime Minister Hun Sen before both presiding over a signing ceremony of some documents that will further enhance bilateral cooperation in sports, education, culture and other fields. Before concluding his visit to Cambodia, Prime Minister Cruz will also lay a wreath at the Independence Monument and the shrine of the former King of Cambodia. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation has stated that the Cuban Prime Minister's visit reaffirms the long-standing friendly relations between Cuba and Cambodia. In particular, the minister says the highlight that need to further strengthen and expand cooperation for the betterment of the both countries and peoples. Anthony Ellis, EAC News.
The President of the National Assembly of Cambodia requested the Prime Minister of Cuba to further promote trade and cooperation between the two countries. During a courtesy call with the Prime Minister of Cuba on Wednesday morning, 5th of October 2022, the President of the National Assembly of Cambodia, Heng Samrin, requested the Prime Minister of the Republic of Cuba, Manuel Marrero Cruz, to promote and increase cooperation in trade and investment between the two countries to a larger scale as it is currently limited. The President of the current Prime Minister of Cuba will further enhance the existing good cooperation in line with the current regional and global context, he said. On this occasion, Cuban Prime Minister Manuel Marrero Cruz also thanked the President of the National Assembly for the honor of this morning's courtesy call. He also mentioned that he always read and followed the heroism of President Heng Samrin in participating in the liberation and development of the nation so far. However, the Cuban Prime Minister stressed that the recent visit of Prime Minister Hun Sen to Cuba and his current visit to Cambodia himself will enhance trade relations and cooperation while the economy and investment between the two countries are growing. He also brought an invitation from the President of the National Assembly of Cuba to invite President Heng Samrin to lead a high-level delegation of the National Assembly of Cambodia to visit Cuba. In response, President Heng Samrin accepted the invitation of the President of the National Assembly of Cuba, promising to lead a high-level delegation of the National Assembly of Cambodia to pay an official visit to Cuba at an appropriate time. President Heng Samrin added that the Republic of Cuba is a good friend of Cambodia. He stated that Cuba has always supported Cambodia through all circumstances, especially when Cambodia had just won liberation from the genocidal regime of Pol Pot on the 7th of January 1979. He said Cuba provided emergency social, health, and education assistance to meet with the needs of the Cambodian people in times of need, in line with the Khmer proverb, good friends help each other in times of need. Finally, he expressed his support and appreciation for the result of Prime Minister Hun Sen's visit to the Republic of Cuba last week to strengthen the ties of friendship, solidarity, and cooperation between the two countries, which provide benefits to both nations. The Candlelight Party and the Khmer Rouge Party have held discussions and decided to join together as one party for the next election in 2023. According to a statement made by the Candlelight Party on the 4th of October 2022, this decision was made after a series of discussions between the senior leadership of the Candlelight Party and the Khmer Rouge Party. As a result, the Khmer Rouge Party has decided not to list any candidates for the 7th parliamentary election in 2023, as they have decided to join together with the Candlelight Party to form a single party. The Candlelight Party welcomed the presence of the former founder of the Khmer National Party, Kong Kwam, who was also the former president of the Sam Rang Si Party and is currently the honorary president of the Khmer Rouge Party. It should be noted, Kong Kwam will now also serve as the supreme advisor of the Candlelight Party. The Prime Minister stated that the behavior of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea is dangerous and another violation of the UN Security Council resolution. EAC News reporter Anthony Ellis has the details.
The Prime Minister also expressed his views on war in Ukraine. Cambodia understands the historical reasons, understands the security concerns and the complexity of the problem, he said. The Prime Minister continued, Cambodia does not agree with the invasion of Ukraine and the attachment of the sovereign country. Cambodia, as a small country, adheres to the sovereignty, territorial integrity, and political independence of its member states and the UN Charter. During the bilateral meeting, the two prime ministers exchanged views of the regional and international issues and pledged to strengthen Cambodia-Cuba relations. Friendship and cooperation in areas such as education, health, culture, agriculture, trade, and international relations. On October the 4th, North Korea fired a ballistic missile over Japan for the first time in 5 years since 2017 before crashing into the Pacific Ocean. This is the fifth missile launch from North Korea's Gyeongsang province. Anthony Ellis, EAC News.
The Malaysian ambassador to Cambodia has said that bilateral and corporate relations between Cambodia and Malaysia have grown since he assumed his position as ambassador in Cambodia. EAC News reporter Anthony Ellis had the privilege to interview the Malaysian ambassador to discuss the bilateral relations between Cambodia and Malaysia.
Sitting down with the Malaysian ambassador to Cambodia, Dr. Eldin Hussaini Muhammad Hasim, he shared that the bilateral and corporate relations between the two countries have grown significantly since they were first established. He said that there are currently about 500 Malaysian companies established in the kingdom and about 6,000 Malaysians live in the country too. Ambassador Dr. Eldin said he was proud that 5 of Malaysia's biggest banks are established in Cambodia. Something has not been done in most Southeastern Asian countries. He also noted that Malaysia is most involved in the sectors of finance, insurance, taxation, hospitality, construction, telecommunications and entertainment in Cambodia.
It is always remarkable to see how we have grown from a very small volume of trade. We have increased to tremendous big amount of trade. To see a very small number in 1994, 1993 was only about maybe 50 to 60 Malaysian companies. Now it grows to almost 500. You can see the vibe is very strong. You know?
The ambassador also touched on Malaysia's involvement in healthcare promotion in Cambodia.
We see the potential of promoting healthcare in Cambodia. Before we came in Cambodia, people always go to Thailand and Vietnam, and I think Indonesia and in Singapore for to extend the treatment and whatnot. But then Malaysia offers a lot more, and Malaysia wanted to be in that league as well. So in 2019, we promoted Malaysia Health Tourism Council. We also help tourism, medical tourism. This is whereby when you go for a medical checkup or you go for medical treatment, you definitely will bring your family as well. So we also want to treat your family while waiting for you to be treated in the hospital. Your family can enjoy visiting, enjoying places whereas when they stay in Malaysia. I think we have inked 3 already hospital with Cambodia. The recent was with Sanwi Hospital, and we want that to be as a stepping stone for the Cambodian to realize that you have another player, which is Malaysia, which offer more affordable in terms of going and traveling with your family and doing treatment, and we can offer more or even better treatment compared to the rest.
It was a real honour and pleasure to interview the kind ambassador Dr. Eldin Hussaini Muhammad Hasim. EAC News thanks the ambassador and the Malaysian embassy for this opportunity. The full in-depth interview EAC News conducted with the Malaysian ambassador will be released soon. Anthony Ellis, EAC News.
Director General of the General Department of Customs and Excise of Cambodia, Kon Nyim, said that customs revenue could lose between $370 million to $400 million per year due to the free trade agreements. However, he said that this agreement has benefited Cambodia greatly currently and in the future. EAC News reporter Anthony Ellis has more.
Speaking at a press conference on Wednesday morning of 5th of October 2022 at the headquarters of the General Department of Customs and Excise, Kon Nyim stated that in order to compensate for his loss, this royal government may consider adjusting the tax rate, especially to help maintain the tax revenue because of the customs loss due to these free trade agreements. It is possible that the scope of the FTA implementation will expand and the preference rate will drop to zero, he said. So in the future, we will lose between $370 and $400 million a year. Cambodia has now achieved the ASEAN Free Trade Area, a free trade agreement with China, Korea, and early this year also joined the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership. Despite some losses due to free trade, Kon Nyim believes that in the future, Cambodia will be able to reap the benefits. Trade agreements are not just for trade, he said, also to invest because each country, if there is superiority compared in labour costs, electric prices, low logistics costs, they will come to invest, and when they get the goods, they can export them to other places, which are Cambodian goods originating from Cambodia. I said this in the long-time vision of Cambodia will have potential. He added, they use Cambodia as a production site, maybe the labour cost is acceptable, then we have a bigger market than the FTA. Production can be traded under the FTA and also under the EBA, then generalised system of preferences provided by developed countries such as United States, Japan, United Kingdom and the EU. Speaking at the graduation ceremony for the students of the Vanda Institute on Monday morning, the 3rd of October, Prime Minister Hun said that the decrease in customs revenue and the increase is in tax revenue reflect the development of the country. He said, tariffs must fall. We are within the framework of the ASEAN Free Trade Area. We have the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership. In addition, we have a separate free trade agreement with China and South Korea, which exports and imports tax-free, so customs duties can be gradually reduced but internal revenue must be increased. According to the Prime Minister Hun Sen, in the first 9 months of 2022, Cambodia collected nearly $3 billion in tax revenue, equivalent to 95% of the plan, while customs collected more than $2 billion, equivalent to 78.61%. Anthony Ellis, EAC News.
Prime Minister Hun Sen has assigned the Minister of Land Management, Chia Sopara, and the Minister of Culture, Phung Sakona, to help the people living in Priadak commune in Siem Reap province after residents protested the demolition of their houses on Wednesday. He made this remark at the opening ceremony of the 2022 Cambodia Outlook Conference on Thursday morning. EAC News reporter Anthony Ellis has the details.
The Prime Minister claimed that the royal government is not affecting the lives of the people in Priadak commune and that there has been no order to demolish houses there. He said the royal government is just considering the infrastructure of Angkor, especially the eastern Baray, which lacks water for people to use. Prime Minister Hun Sen told people not to worry and to keep quiet for now. According to the Prime Minister, experts are currently studying how much water the Eastern Baray can hold to support Angkor Wat. He stated the royal government has carefully considered this issue to protect the lives of the people and also to protect the ancient temples of Angkor. It should be noted that many residents in Playa Dak commune gathered to protest in front of Playa Dak commune hall on Wednesday. Some come to chant protest while others raise banners saying that they refuse to see their homes demolished. Some people have also called the royal government to intervene in their favour. Anthony Ellis, EAC News.
Prime Minister Hun Sen has expressed concern over a series of bad events currently happening in the world. He raised the question of whether there could be nuclear war, given the daily warnings suggesting this occurrence, while speaking at the opening ceremony of the 2022 Cambodia Outlook Conference on Thursday morning. The Prime Minister condemned North Korea's launch of a missile over Japan, saying that this was a matter that must be taken very seriously.
ការបាញ់មីស៊ីលឆ្លងកាត់ពីកូរ៉េខាងជើងឆ្លងកាត់ប្រទេសជប៉ុនមិនមែនជារឿងលេងសើចនោះទេប្រសិនបើខ្ញុំចង់បាញ់ចូលតូក្យូឬក៏បាញ់ចូលក្នុងតំបន់ណាមួយនៃប្រទេសជប៉ុនក៏អាចបាញ់បានពួកឆ្លងកាត់ប្រទេសដែរ
The Prime Minister stressed the severity of being able to shoot missiles over an entire country, which is markedly different from firing test missiles across the sea. He emphasized that North Korea's actions are a major threat to regional security. He also expressed continued concern about the world still facing the COVID-19 pandemic and the Russia-Ukraine war, which has led to rising fuel prices and inflationary pressures, and the increasing instances of freak weather and natural disasters. On Tuesday, North Korea fired a ballistic missile over Japan for the first time in 5 years since 2017, prompting a warning for residents to take cover and a temporary suspension of train operations in northern Japan. The missile crashed into the Pacific Ocean after flying over the country. This is the fifth missile launch from North Korea's Jagang province. Prime Minister Hun Sen has asked political parties and civil society organizations not to consider the actions taken by the royal government to help people in need as a tactic to gain more votes for the 2023 general election, stressing that the interests of the people are not a political game. EAC News reporter Dekanin has more.
Speaking at the 2022 Cambodia Outlook Conference on Thursday morning, the Prime Minister said that the measures the royal government has taken to help citizens in the past and in the present are based on policies that benefit all citizens of Cambodia.
មិនមែនជាបញ្ហាលេងសើចសម្រាប់បញ្ហានយោបាយទេប៉ុន្តែគឺជាការទទួលខុសត្រូវធំណាស់ចំពោះមុខប្រវត្តិសាស្ត្ររបស់ជាតិយើង
The Prime Minister also recalled the royal government's involvement in helping people during the COVID-19 outbreak, saying that the Cambodia's government, although poor, does not allow its people to die from this pandemic. The government has also provided monetary assistance to those who have been most affected by COVID-19, social assistance which has now recently been extended to those affected by inflation. In this line, the Prime Minister urged political parties and civil society to understand this issue well.
នេះជាការទទួលខុសត្រូវរបស់យើងហើយសង្ឃឹមថាគណៈបកនយោបាយនានានិងសង្គមស៊ីវិលមិនយកបញ្ហានេះធ្វើជាអាវុធវាយរដ្ឋាភិបាលថារៀបចំគម្រោងបន្តផ្ដល់សាច់ប្រាក់សម្រាប់អ្នករងគ្រោះដោយសារ COVID បន្ថែមទៅដោយគ្រាមបំរុងដើម្បីអន្តរាគមន៍សម្រាប់ផលប៉ះពាល់ទៅលើអតិផរណាថាជាការកេងចំណេញខាងនយោបាយនេះជាការបង្ការទុកជាមុនតែប៉ុណ្ណោះ
Cambodia is considered as one of the world's most successful countries in recovering from COVID-19, which can be attributed to the royal government's nationwide vaccination campaign that allowed the country to fully reopen on the 1st of November 2021. The royal government has also spent around $800 million to provide social assistance to the families that have been hardest hit by the pandemic. This does not include the budget used to purchase vaccines and treat people from COVID-19. Nekanin, EAC News.
The president of the Cambodian People's Party, Prime Minister Hun Sen, has called on countries around the world to continue increasing international cooperation and solidarity on addressing global environmental challenges in order to save the planet from various disasters. EAC News reporter Dekanin has more details.
The Prime Minister made these remarks while addressing the opening ceremony of the International Inter-Party Conference on Thursday, 6th of October 2022, held under the theme Ecological Policy and Sustainable Development. As a matter of fact, environmental issues have no boundary, so for the sake of our people, only international cooperation and solidarity can effectively address global environmental challenges and save our planet from disasters, he said. I believe that all of us can do it. Cambodia continues to strive towards solving the global problem of climate change. The kingdom has tripled its national budget for activities related to climate change mitigation, as well as set a target to reduce emissions by approximately 42% by 2030. Prime Minister Hun Sen has also stressed that the international community should not overlook the transfer of technology to developing countries in order to allow them to participate in solving global environmental problems more actively and effectively. At the same time, we should also focus on building and integrating human resources through the sharing of knowledge on addressing environmental issues and study tool programs to respond to the urgency of global environmental issues, he said. However, Prime Minister Hun Sen has also stated that Cambodia is ready and in need of both public and private partners to help the country achieve its commitment to addressing climate change. Nekanin, EAC News.
A sandstone sculpture of a Naga's head in the Bayon style was found buried in the ground, emerging from the roots of a tree after it had collapsed in the former capital of Angkor Thom. The Apsara Authority announced on Wednesday that a Bayon-style Naga head sculpture made of sandstone was recently accidentally found after a large tree fell, and fragments of the sculpture was spotted buried in the ground and emerging from the roots of the tree in Wat Tep Pranom area in the former capital of Angkor Thom. According to the head of the art registration team at the Department of Preservation of Archaeology of the Apsara Authority, Chok Somala, the sculpture was buried half a meter in the ground, and the tree had collapsed because it did not have large roots and due to heavy rain and soil erosion. Chok Somala also added that the found piece of sculpture was 1.2 meters long and 1 meter wide, and only part of the neck and head of a larger sculpture. He said that the sculpture depicts a Garuda riding on a Naga, with the front of the Naga's face almost completely damaged. The Garuda is also missing its nose and parts of its upper arms and head. The head of the art registration team also concluded that the Naga head fragments could have been moved from the Bayon temple, but could not confirm the location, time, or purpose for its moving. At the same time, he added that most of these statues were made in the Bayon style that was common during the reign of King Jayavarman VII, during which the king combined Nagas and Garudas who were considered enemies. Chok Somala said that Jayavarman VII might have wanted to express the religious unification of Hinduism and Buddhism, so therefore ordered artists of the time to combine these two figures together and display them in his buildings. It should be noted that to secure the fragment of the Naga head sculpture, the Apsara Authority cooperated with the Heritage Protection Police and a travel agency to hand over the sculpture to the Norodom Sihanouk Angkor Museum for documentation and to get it cleaned and stored according to the archaeological techniques, and to find other information related to the sculpture fragment in order to put it back together with the original sculpture.
If it's happening and you need to know about it, you'll get it all right here. EAC News brings you updates and breaking news in English across all of our platforms and channels. The EAC News app, YouTube, Facebook, Telegram, Twitter, and our website www.eacnews.asia. Join me and the rest of the EAC News team every day on your favorite channels. EAC News, Cambodia made clear.
The Minister of Higher Education, Science, Research and Innovation of Thailand has informed Prime Minister Hun Sen that Thailand wants to strengthen cooperation with Cambodia in the field of education by providing scholarships to Cambodian students and allowing Cambodian researchers to do research in their territory as well. EAC News reporter Dekanin has further details.
Speaking at a meeting with Prime Minister Hun Sen at the Peace Palace on Friday morning, the Thai Minister of Higher Education, Science, Research and Innovation, Anak Lao Tamatas, said that Thailand will provide scholarships for doctoral and master's degrees in science and technology at universities in the Kingdom of Thailand, and also allow Cambodian researchers to participate in research in astronomy, biology, health and other fields. The Prime Minister's assistant Ing Sapolite told reporters after the meeting. Furthermore, Minister Anak invited the Cambodian delegation to pay an official visit to the Kingdom of Thailand to explore the possibility of expanding and strengthening cooperation between the two countries, especially in the field of education. Prime Minister Hun Sen thanked the Thai side for providing scholarships and cooperation on research. He requested the Thai Minister of Higher Education to continue discussions with relevant institutions in Cambodia to promote good and in-depth cooperation. During the meeting, Prime Minister Hun Sen also decided for the Ministry of Industry, Handicrafts and Innovation to assign a delegation to visit Thailand at the invitation of Minister Anak Lao Tamatas. Dekanin, EAC News.
The Minister of Public Works and Transport Senior Minister Sun Chantol told the Capital Provincial Department of Public Works and Transport not to ignore the roads that have been damaged by floods, which has created difficulties for people to travel during the rainy season. EAC News reporter Anthony Ellis has more.
During the meeting review, the progress of work and direction for further activities of the Ministry of Public Works and Transport on the 5th of October 2022, Senior Minister Sun Chantol instructed the Technical Working Group of the Department of Public Works and Transport of the capital provinces to close existing potholes due to heavy rain, in particular immediately if any roads are cut off by the flood. As for the section of National Road 3 from Kampot to Vilden, which 20 kilometres long and badly damaged with countless fixings, the Ministry is looking to solve it by studying the technique to remove 18-metre deep soil to ensure that this road lasts a long time. According to a report obtained by EAC News from Sut Kim Kolomani, spokesman of the National Committee for Disaster Management, 22 provinces affected by floods including Kampong Thom, Siem Reap, Banteng Meche and Battambang were affected the most. According to the spokesman from the flood affected more than 29 kilometres of national roads, provincial roads and trails. Officials said that regarding the size of the damaged road, experts will inspect and assess the damage after the flood. Sut Kim Kolomani said that the floods that stated from May to the beginning of October affected more than 40,000 houses, 187 houses were damaged, 244 schools and 63 brigadas were flooded. More than 130,000 hectares of rice fields also flooded, more than 20,000 hectares of the rice field and more than 10,000 hectares of other crops were damaged. More than 22,000 people were affected and more than 2,000 were evacuated and 15 people died in the floods. Anthony Ellis, EAC News.
The spokesperson of the Ministry of Justice, Chin Malin, has said that the Ministry of Justice needs quality human resources and sufficient funding to address the problem of congestion and overcrowding in prisons. The spokesperson made this statement while speaking at a press conference on the achievements made by the Ministry of Justice in the past 5 years on Friday morning. EAC News reporter Dekanin has more.
Justice Ministry spokesperson Chin Malin said that in order to avoid case congestion and overcrowding in prisons, the Ministry of Justice needs to address extracurricular issues. However, a lack of judicial infrastructure resources in informal settlements also further contribute to case congestion in courts. He said, cases become congested due to inefficient negotiation or out-of-court settlements. So even small cases at the grassroots level hit the courts. A simple case of stealing chickens and ducks also comes to court. Do our courts have enough resources, materials, and people to solve all these issues? The spokesperson said that increasing human resources is not about quantity, but rather it is more about improving the quality, virtuousness, and ethics of professional human resources who have been selected by the Ministry of Justice to participate in professional training courses. Court congestion and overcrowding in prisons have long been a problem in Cambodia, and the government has worked to address these issues by setting up working groups to address all systems and create more prisons. In particular, the government has been working on the reform of the judiciary for the common good of the people, especially to allow the public to understand and participate in the implementation of the law properly. A total of 683 prisoners have asked to have their sentences reduced during the Water Festival. A total of nearly 40,000 prisoners currently in Cambodia, with most cases involving drugs. Neganin, EAC News.
A total of 39 state delegations attended an interactive dialogue with the Special Rapporteur on the situation of human rights in Cambodia, held on Wednesday in Geneva, Switzerland. According to a press statement issued by the permanent representative of Cambodia to the United Nations office at Geneva, An Sok Kun, 30 of the attending state delegations spoke in favor of the efforts, progress, and achievements Cambodia has realized in promoting and protecting human rights on many fronts. They also urged the Special Rapporteur's working methods to be balanced and constructive, taking into account the perspective of the government and national circumstances. They commended the successful response to COVID-19, particularly the near-universal vaccination seen in the country, as well as the social protection initiatives implemented in support of women, job-suspended workers, and vulnerable groups. Some also welcomed Cambodia's successful holding of communal elections, with 9 political parties having won the communal council seats, and the efforts to ensure that these elections were held in a free, fair, orderly, peaceful, and transparent manner. The remaining 9 delegations gave critical comments urging Cambodia to broaden civic and political space, including further respect for freedom of expression, media and peaceful assembly, and independence of judiciary. Concurrently, almost all of these delegations welcomed the kingdom's ongoing cooperation with the UN human rights mechanisms, including the facilitation of the Special Rapporteur's recent visit to the country and progress on economic, social, and cultural rights, particularly on a health-related front. During the debate, Ambassador An Sok Kun shared some of his observations on the Special Rapporteur's report. He said that the permanent mission notes that the report recognizes, in a brief and narrow scope, certain positive elements. However, it feels regret that the report does not set the record straight on many fronts due to incomplete and unbalanced integration of factual and legal accounts of various bodies of the state provided. Ambassador An Sok Kun also stated that the Special Rapporteur's report contains subjective and selective particulars and lacked concrete proof, which compromised the report's credibility and impartiality. The permanent representative further challenged the Special Rapporteur on a number of other topics, such as his grievance over single-party rule in Cambodia, which disregards the fact that the power in Cambodia is constitutionally and democratically elected, and the Special Rapporteur's criticism of mass trials against opposition leaders, which did not assess the details received with rigor and a depoliticized lens. The permanent representative concluded his remarks by underlining that human rights are rarely about perfection, rather a marathon and progress. He said fair and moderate observers view Cambodia as a half-full glass, as evidenced by the overwhelming majority of delegations in the council speaking in favor of Cambodia's achievements in promoting human rights. Ambassador An Sok Kun reiterated Cambodia's firm commitment, in cooperation with all partners, to promote and protect human rights within the rule of law, to advance sustainable development, to uphold hard-won peace, and to pursue an irreversible democratic journey with pluralism, including the parliamentary elections next year, in a free, fair, orderly, peaceful, and transparent manner. The judge of the Phnom Penh Municipal Court has ruled that the vice president of the Candlelight Party, Son Chai, lost the suit placed against him by the Cambodian People's Party and the National Election Committee. Son Chai has been ordered to pay more than $750,000 in compensation to the CPP and the NEC, and to also issue a public written apology to the NEC. The verdict was announced at the Phnom Penh Municipal Court on Friday afternoon, 7th October 2022 by Judge Hom Meng Sai. Son Chai was not present in court. The vice president of the Candlelight Party must now pay approximately $2,000 to the NEC and write a letter of apology within 2 months from the date of announcement. The court has also ordered Son Chai to pay approximately $750,000 in compensation to the CPP and approximately $750 to the state. In August 2022, both the NEC and the CPP filed defamation suits against Son Chai over an interview he conducted with the Cambodia Daily, alleging that the fifth mandate Commune Sangkat election involved cheating, intimidation, and vote buying, to the point of using the metaphor of thieves. The CPP's lawyer considered these allegations to be false, a distortion of the truth and the spread of false information with the intention of slander, with potential to seriously damage the reputation of the CPP. The NEC also stated that Sonchai's comments had seriously affected the committee, which must perform its duties independently and neutrally to ensure that all elections are free, fair, and just in accordance with the principles of multi-party liberal democracy. Thailand recoiled in horror Thursday after at least 36 people were killed, at least 24 of them children, in a massacre at a childcare center in northeastern Thailand, believed to be the country's deadliest incident of its kind. The age range of children at the daycare center was from 2 to 5 years old. EAC News reporter Anthony Ellis has the details.
The attacker was later identified by Thailand's Central Investigation Bureau as Panya Kanrab, a 34-year-old former policeman. According to the Thai Royal Police, he was suspended from police duties early this year in relation to drug possession charges and was facing trial on drug charge. This incident is one of the world's worst child death tolls, a massacre by a single killer in recent history. Most of the children who died at the daycare centre of Utai Soan, a town 500 kilometres or 310 miles northeast of Bangkok, were stabbed to death, police said. Among the dozens of victims of Panya's wife, a stepson who investigators say he killed before taking his own life. His 2-year-old stepson was enrolled at the nursery that was attacked Thursday, but was not present while the attack was carried out, according to the local police chief. Panya went to look for his 2-year-old son, but the boy was not there, so he started shooting as well as stabbing people at the nursery, police spokesman Major General Pasan Luhusabun said. Panya then managed to get into a room where 24 kids were sleeping together, killing all but one of them. He also used a knife to stab both children and staff at the centre. Most of the deaths were a result of stabbing wounds, Pasan said. One of the centre's teachers described a horrific scene to local media, explaining that the attacker entered the centre around noon while 2 other staff members were having lunch. I suddenly heard the sound just sounded like firecrackers, so I looked back and 2 of the staffs just collapsed on the floor, the teacher said. Then he pulled another gun from his waist. I didn't expect he would also kill the kids, they said. Prime Minister Prayuth Chan-o-cha was expected to visit the region on Friday. In a statement on Facebook, he called Thursday's rampage a shocking incident. Prayuth ordered all government departments to fly the national flag at half-mast on Friday to mark the tragedy that had caused grief in the entire nation, his spokesperson, Ashanda Bakashari, said. The government said it would provide financial aid to the families to help cover funeral expenses and medical treatment. Anthony Ellis, EAC News.
Thank you for watching the Weekly Roundup here on EAC News Channel. For more breaking news and updates, you can check out our website, eacnews.asia, or search EAC News on Telegram, Smart TV, or at your favorite app store. More from the EAC News team on Monday night at 8 p.m. We will see you then.